We just got done watching Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and man, I think that this show was I think this show started off on a really good foot, okay? As I always say, the things that I'm looking for going into series premieres is I want them to set the table. I want to have all the information that we need, and I want to know everything that we need to know in order to get to that next step within the series or within the show. And I do think that they have properly set the table for whatever is to come next. I'm not gonna lie to you. We actually start this episode out with the usual Star Wars droid crawl thing that they do, but it was actually a little different this time around because it had music behind it, and it had different music behind it, I should say, because I think there is a certain music that it usually has, and it was completely different this time around, which I'm down for. I'm down with. We also open with the crawl, right? Getting the information about the fall of the empire and how the new republic has maintained order, and how there's remote hyperspace routes that are increasingly plagued by piracy. Basically, again, just setting the table, letting us know that this show is going to be heavily about pirates, way more than I thought. So, like, I'm not gonna lie, I knew it was gonna be about pirates, but damn, like, it is a lot about pirates. You know what I mean? Like, it is pirate centered, it is pirate centric, and I love that. Actually, I love the way that we start this episode. We start episode 1 with straight up action. Again, I don't think it's something anyone was prepared for, but it was very much welcome. It was super cool just to see, pirates doing pirate things in the Star Wars universe in live action. It's not something that we've been able to bring to the screen in a live action since just yet. I know it's something that is heavily done in like Rebels, and I think in Clone Wars we see a little bit of the pirate stuff going on too, but it's really nice to see this different, like, to see it, this different take, right? To see it not being rebels or the empire, but it's pirates, people defending their ships and other people coming to take their stuff, like, I really like that. And it was just straight up brutal from the jump, like really brutal. And I don't think it's a way that you start your typical kids show, right? That was gonna be like, this is crazy. They did the most, right? Seeing them just flying out and blowing up stuff, like, holy moly, like, they really brought their A game with this first episode. I think, like, this they did everything that I think they needed to do. I'm so happy that we were able to set the tone with it being so brutal, being so terrifying. I mean, terrifying in a sense, right? Like, someone who straight up got macheted, and that's not something you usually see happen. You don't usually see people getting macheted, but that straight up did go down. And that's awesome. We also got this look at this awesome wolf dude. I'm not sure what their species is called in Star Wars. I can't remember off the top of my dome, but I think that was really cool to also see there. I'm pretty sure that this guy is Jude Law's character, and they basically put him in the brig after he did what he did here, and then ever since they've just been running without him. And I believe that he will take advantage of the characters, get to At-Aden possibly and try to get the whole At-Aden thing himself. Now that I know that At-Aden is basically Treasure Planet, I'm very confident in where this series can head after that, because, Treasure Planet, man. I mean, Treasure Planet's awesome, right? I love me some Treasure Planet. It's really one of my favorite movies ever, and I feel like this is Star Wars version of that. Treasure Planet, Treasure Island, all that type of vibe. When we see the pirate captain, kind of betray, all the whole thing, right? I think we're getting those whole vibes, and I'm here for it, man. I love the way that they turn on him immediately. And yeah, I think that was dope. And then I really love how the kids are basically just kids. It's something that was also a little jarring. I'm not gonna lie, seeing him straight up playing with like Star Wars action figures, basically, and then him going and like eating cereal. It's definitely something that we haven't seen occur within the Star Wars universe in this manner. I mean, kids have been playing with toys before, yes. I think kids have eaten breakfast stuff before. I think we did see Braun Andor eating cereal. It's just very interesting on how much, everything is turning into what, like our type of society. He's not drinking blue milk, which is something that stood out to me, because I think we've only seen people drink blue milk, but this is like a dark charcoal gray. It's like a charcoal gray milk. You know what I mean? I guess it does have a little blue tint to it, but it's definitely not the same. It's definitely not that. It's not the same type of type of thing going on there. But the dad, I really want to know what's up with the dad. Like, I feel like the dad has a job that the son really doesn't understand what he does, and I would like to see what is going on with the dad. I just have a lot of questions for him. I loved me some Neil. Can't lie to you. I think Neil is awesome. I was so like I love the way that we get to see these kids just being kids and playing with their lightsaber toys and acting like they're Jedis and Sith. Like, that's awesome, man. I really love the way that happens, right? I think a lot of us can even attest to doing that as children, right? Playing with our own Star Wars toys and pretending to have lightsabers with your friends and fighting and stuff just like this, right? And I think that's just a really cool thing. I think that's just a really cool thing. I had fun with it, man. I think the main thing that I have to say is that this was super fun. Like, this show has already been super fun the way we started off with it, and I think it will continue. When we later see them, going to school, we find out that they basically take like aptitude tests of some sort, where it like will basically place them in a certain realm for the rest of their life, which is wild. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, yo, these kids are gonna take a test, and whatever that test is, the outcome is, means that's what job you're gonna have. Definitely feeling a little of dystopian, if you ask me. They also are like in a bubble. They say it multiple times, like we can't go past the bubble field or the shield or whatever, and it just feels like they're trapped wherever they are. They're not supposed to leave. It's like illegal to fly away and all these other things. So, I don't know what's up with that. I'm very curious about it, very curious about what that means. But we also see that Neil has this little crush on the little green girl, you know what I mean? And then I like that they also understood, bro. I think every other time we see this type of species, they always have like a translator on them or something akin to that in order for us to properly understand what they're saying in English. The kid, we get the vibes immediately that this kid wants to, he wants adventure. He basically says he wants to be a Jedi, just like Neil calls him out for later, which I think is hilarious. Neil is just a good friend, bro. Like, Neil is a good friend. Neil is the type of friend that everyone needs, that'll call you out on your BS, but also is going to rock with you. I love it. And then we also get this little hint to basically, I don't know, like a speeder bike type of thing going on. I like that they were setting up backstory for things to go on for these kids, and then all of it is just thrown out the window immediately. I really appreciate that. I can't lie to you, because it makes you feel like it was possible for us to get a couple of episodes before they, I think starting off with this, it's like, oh, hey, they might not leave this planet in this first episode, Like, oh, there might be some other things that happen before they actually get on this spaceship and go out into outer space. And then at the end of it, it's like, no, it's not that at all. Like, no, they're out of here. Wim's dad is screaming for him at the top of his lungs, like, what? Like, bro, I just was not ready for any of that, I could only imagine going to look for my son and seeing a spaceship take off with him on it. Like, that's insane. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine how I would even feel at that moment. But I do appreciate that first episode for establishing so much. And we also find out that Fern, who is young and rebellious, her mother is like the undersecretary that was just at the school earlier that day, giving us a good. It's kind of funny, she makes fun of Wim for how his dad is, and her mom is basically the same exact way, if not even a little bit more than how Wim's dad was. So I like just the dynamic that we got to see with everyone. I already said I'm very interested in what's going on with the dad, but I'm also interested in what that means for the mom, I want to know what's going to be going on there, where those plot threads go. And it was also really cool to see how Wim is, like, this is another moment, mind you. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Treasure Planet, because I'm going to keep making references. But in Treasure Planet, he has a device that's kind of like this, where he watches stuff about pirates and then he wants to be a pirate all day. And here he is watching stuff about Jedis and he's wanting to be a Jedi. So there are a lot of similarities to Treasure Planet, which I do think is like one of the best movies ever created. Like, not gonna lie to you. Like, Treasure Planet is a top 10 movie if you have not watched it. Definitely go and check it out. And there are Treasure Planet vibes all over this, and it just makes me love it and appreciate it even more. Wim misses the bus trying to go to school, and that is how we are introduced to this spaceship that he first believes is a Jedi temple because he just has Jedi on his mind. Like he's just thinking about Jedi stuff all of the time. He wants to be a Jedi so bad, and he thinks that he has found or stumbled upon a Jedi temple, which he clearly hasn't. I'm very interested in knowing how the hell this ship has got on this place. I mean, again, Treasure Planet vibes. You know, like we definitely go on Treasure Planet, and there is a spaceship, and there is a robot that lives on that spaceship that was with the captain. You know what I mean? Like we are following a pretty solid plot line there, and I'm here for it. I like it, yo. I loved this first episode. I know these kids are definitely was getting on my nerves, but I also understand the ambition. I understand the childlike ambition. You know what I mean? So when we see them basically just square up right here, it gives me a lot of like Sandlot vibes, you know? No boys allowed, no girls allowed. Like I understand that like no one really likes the whole tit for tat stuff that goes on with kids, but I appreciate it because it's very kid like, right? Like that's one thing that I mean, I have children. So this is 100% how kids act. Kids are annoying, kids are obnoxious. They are. I love how they're like, yo, everyone on the whole planet knows that you can't do claimsies without the claimer. Like, I love that little, like, you know, I love that little stuff. I'm not gonna lie, because it gives us a lot of context as to how they are as children, how this planet works, how everybody works together. And I think that they did all of it just works, man. It just works. So, you know, once they get on the ship though, you know, they're going through the ship, they're trying to figure stuff out. I love how we're very early on establishing that KB is the full brains of the operation in every way, shape, or form. She knows what she's doing, she knows how to do it, and she's gonna make it happen. I'm not sure if she's like part android or if she just has something on her head, but this thing it looks like it is her head. Like it looks like that's part of her head right there. It doesn't look like she has something on that she's just wearing. It looks like it's like kind of like embedded into her brain a little bit. So if that is so, that would be cool. Especially how it's been working so far. It seems like it enhances whatever she's already doing. So I think that's really cool for her. I think all of these characters also got a moment to shine in their own way. Neil is awesome. KB is awesome. Fern is obviously the character that she is, and then we also got, you know, I think this show, I think they're all kids, and they're all cool characters that we get to go on this journey with. You know, once they're on this spaceship, they split up, they're talking, they're discussing things, and then she straight up tells Wim like, "Don't press anything," and he's like, "Yo, I'm not gonna press anything. Don't worry about it. I'm not gonna press anything," and he stares at it. And he's like, "I'm not gonna press it." He even like looks at it like, you know, like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do it. No, press that shit." You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness, what are you doing, kid? And then that sets off the adventure for them. I love the way that they show us them going into hyperspace and them not being prepared for it either. Beautiful shots as well, seeing the kids kind of climb onto the spaceship as it's going off into space, and seeing Wandle, I think is Wim's dad's name, like Wim and Wandle. What the hell was going on there? But it was really cool to just see these, like, this looks incredible. Like, he's like, "Son, oh my God," you know, and then the ship just starts turning, and it's just like, bro, this is awesome. What a way to start this series, man. What a way to start this series with just high stakes right off the back with like these things that are going on, death, murder, intrigue, no politics, unfortunately, but I'm here for that. I think the first episode was awesome, and I do think it did a good job of setting the tone. Let me know how you guys felt about that first episode. But, you know, as we get into episode 3, we meet our droid pal. I love this dude. He reminds me very much so of the droid from Treasure Planet, even though the droid on Treasure Planet is like dumb because he's lost half his brain. We kind of have that same vibe here, but he's just with the shit, don't play around instead. And I love that. I love how different it is. And we also get to see that Fern is kind of like, not, I don't want to say the brains of the group, but she is the wits, right? Like KB is the brains, she's the wits, you know, like, and I think I don't know where the boys come in at yet, you know, because bro just wants to be an adventurer, man, and I feel him, but I know he's going to screw things up time and time again because he wants an adventure so bad. And I love the way how they're all like, "Bro, this is basically your fault. Like, no shade, bruh, but you got us here. Like, so you don't need to touch anything. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to say anything. Like, it sucks, but I feel the shade. I also I also thought it was cool how we got to just see these characters interact with this droid. Smee SM33. So I'm just gonna call him Smee. I like how that, and then of course the little rat dude becomes like Neil's pal in a way, which is really funny. Like Neil's like, "Oh hey, buddy," and he's like, "Oh my goodness!" And then like later on, he's like trying to save his little buddy once the pirates attack him and he gets fried. I like it, man. I think this show did a good job. I just gotta keep saying that, man. I gotta keep praising what is praiseworthy, and I think they did a very solid. I think it's solid, man. But we continue on with Wim. He's obviously having the time of his life. He doesn't care that there's dead people surrounding him. He's like, bro, do you see where we are? Do you see what we're doing? This is a once in a lifetime thing that nobody gets to do. And he's right. It is very much a once in a lifetime thing. Nobody gets to do it. But also they're kids and they're going to a dangerous place, right? And once they get to this dangerous place, I love how literally everyone is looking at them like, what the heck are kids doing on this planet right here? And we have this worker here. This is obviously a house of illustriousness. And I love how this lady of the night is like, yo, these are kids. They have to get out of here. And she really does everything she can to try and save them because she knows y'all don't need to be on this planet right here. It was very interesting the way that everybody immediately knew about these credits that they had. I really like that. I really like it, especially because they don't believe that Aden is a place, but they obviously have these credits that they should not have at the same time. You know what I mean? So I just like the way that worked out and the way those things work together to continue to build the story. I know up until this point, we were told that no one knew where they lived or did no one knew what planet they were from. But now we know that the planet they're from is actually like a place written in myth. So anytime someone sees these credits, which by the way, his dad just handed a ton of them to him, and one obviously is so expensive. Like obviously, it's obviously has a high value to it. And it just that's funny. It was just really cool to see. It was just I like to see how the galaxy works on this pirate side. Even though we've seen pirate stuff before, I don't know if we've ever been this up close and personal with the pirates of the Star Wars galaxy. So to see how different they are, to see how they work, to see our homeboy come back again from the Mando verse as well, to see all those things, I think it really set the tone, man, for what we're gonna get in this adventurous series ahead of us. Because I think we are really going to be going on an adventure from here on out. And the adventure continues, man, as our boy Smee pulls up for the kids, which is I love after they go on the, after they run away. Smee comes up, and as my guy Mike Beasley said, he initiates fisticuffs quite literally immediately. Like, he was not playing around. He said, bro, get away from my captain. And he meant that shit with his entire chest, bro. He meant it with from his top to from the top of his brain to the bottom of his rusted toes. He meant that, bro, and he literally initiated the fisticuffs in the most badass way possible, bro. Bro tries to shoot him. He like dodges the shot, and then he just starts going ham on legitimately everyone. Like he's like, weave, boom, bing, 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 bing. Like who's next, bro? And he just starts running toward, yeah, wow, like. Did not believe the way he was just throwing hands left and right. And he was just giving it to everybody, no matter what, bro. And I loved it. I love it, man. He's literally blocking. Like, this is not a kid's show. You know what I mean? Like, it is, but it's not. His shields get heated up, and he grabs them, and he scalps this dude. He burns him. He burns that man. Like, bro, oh my God, that's so brutal. Everyone in the show has been so brutal, and I don't even know what to do about it, but I'm hyped about it. You know what I mean? I don't know where we go next, but wherever we do go, it's going to be up like Chuck, man. And that is something that I am all the way down for completely. Yo, and then we got my guy Urkel popping up for no reason. I didn't know I did not know that. I don't think I knew he was about to be in this show. But my man Stefan, a.k.a. Urkel, a.k.a. You feel me? He pulling up in Star Wars, which is dope. A little bit of everybody being Star Wars, man. And I'm hyped for that. That's another one of those celebrity appearances, I guess you can say, that we were talking about before. Man, R.I.P. to the bot, man. R.I.P. to Smee. He did not deserve it. he was far too young. You know what I mean? Smee got straight iced, and then at least I loved that my guy Neil tried to save the rat though, and they look badass. Like these pirates look awesome as well, which is something I'm happy about. Everyone looks good. All the aliens look good. Everything about this looks fantastic. And it was just a wonderful way to start this episode. And again, as they're trapped in the jail, I do not think that Jude Law's character is a Jedi. I think he overhears them obviously talking about Jedi, discussing what Jedi are and stuff like that. And he just takes the opportunity to jump on it. I don't know how he would be able to. I mean, before he uses the Force, I don't know if it's the Force in the same way, right? Because he says the distance between these two things is not real. And that's not really how the Force works. You know, that's not how the Force works, and that's not how people even explain the Force, right? Like, they explain it very differently. So I just feel like we've been introduced to so many different Force-like things in this new era of Star Wars, right? Like, where there's not just the Force, but there's also the thread or the weave or whatever, and then there's also this stuff and that stuff. There are many interpretations of the Force, and I do not believe that his is akin to a Jedi. I'm pretty sure he's just like, yeah, sure, a Jedi, of course. You know what I mean? And he's like, if that's what you need to hear for you guys to show me where Atten is, the city of treasure, you know, then yeah, I'll be a Jedi. You know what I'm saying? I'll be a Jedi. But he straight up uses the Force, and when he does it, we even get the Star Wars music that drops, and it's beautiful. And I love the way that everyone is so nervous at first when they're looking at him and when they're watching him. And it's like once they think that he's a Jedi, all of their fears kind of just melt away. And it makes it seem like, I don't know, maybe the Jedi, it's, you know, at Atten is at Atten is as much of a myth as Jedi are in this area, it seems like, or maybe even more so. But yeah, he straight up uses the Force, right? And he brings that key to him. And I don't know how he's able to do it. I don't know what that has to be. I don't know. But I'm very curious as to what that means. And again, I do think that we have kind of this reverse good guy type of thing going on where he's going to act like he's, or to where, you know, when we find, like, the pirates will catch up with him later and they'll be like, we always believed in you, Captain. I always knew that you had it in you. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of vibe that I think we're going for. You know what I mean? So, but I'm interested in seeing what's going on here. I can't wait for the rest of this story to unfold. And I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys did too. Let me know how you guys felt about it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop all your thoughts, theories, and questions for the series premiere of Skeleton Crew.